It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, basketball fans. I'm Ernie Johnson, welcoming you to 2K Sports. I'm here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, it'll be the Golden State Warriors going up against the Jazz out in Salt Lake City. And for Utah, they'll be up for this game, facing the team that defeated them in the conference semis last season. This is one they've been waiting for. And the Warriors head coach, former three-point ace, Steve Kerr, he has deep knowledge of the game. Also, some front office experience. He's helped establish a great culture for this organization, Kenny.
Well, he set some core values, you know. He wanted you to have compassion, competitiveness, and mindfulness. You know, throwing a sprinkle of joy, and then all of a sudden you
have the makings of a great day.
No doubt. There it is, and a lot of fun to play.
And you know, with all those great recipes, Kenny, I think it's part of how they lured KD to the team. Got to credit Steve. He helped lay the blueprint.
Has your day been filled with compassion and mindfulness and joy so far, Shaq?
Always sit next to you, Ernie.
Oh man. Yeah. How about you, Kenny?
Oh, man, you just put some butter on that toast, man. Golly.
Don't forget the jam.
I hope this show never ends.
Broadcasting live, 2K Sports presents the NBA. It's Monday night. I'm Kevin Harlan, joined by the talented analyst tandem of Greg Anthony and Chris Webber. David Aldridge is on our sideline. Last game for the Warriors, they pick up the W against the Nuggets in Denver. And just one look at the score tells you all you need to know. They were dominant in just about every area.
Away from home, you got to execute, and they did that flawlessly.
Yeah, and they also controlled the pace of the game for most of the night. Outstanding effort in a hostile environment.
And nothing tips off a broadcast like getting the lowdown from the sidelines. And we've got David Aldridge there for that. David, good evening.
Well, guys, Draymond Green's competitive fire is one of the big keys for the Warriors. He said, that's one of my biggest responsibilities, to be the vocal and emotional leader of this team. We have a lot of guys that are more on the quiet side. If nobody was willing to take that role, we'd just be a bunch of church mice. I thought, why not me? It's a natural for me anyway. Kevin?
He's the glue that holds the team together, DA. Always important to have a guy who can fire up his teammates. And the Utah Jazz back in 2014, the worst defensive team in the league by points per possession. Greg, it's been a dramatic turnaround.
One of the premier defensive teams now in our league in terms of their imposing paint presence. Not a team that gambles for steals or deflections. They keep you in front and force you to play over the top.
And so off the tip, it's Utah. Now a chance, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. The starting five on the floor. So for the Golden State Warriors right now, Thompson and Durant, the sharpshooters at the 2 and the 3. Inside, we've got Draymond at the 4 and Pachulia to his side. And it's Curry in at the point guard position.
The advanced in-between games, just another thing that makes Thompson so dangerous.
And it's Utah's ball. Tough loss coming against the Rockets in the last game they played.
And if there's one aspect of the game that really stood out for me, it was the rebounding. Basketball is about possessions, and you saw a noticeable difference in terms of the effort both teams were putting forth.
Yeah, you have to make the effort to gain position, keep position, go harder after rebounds. None of that was happening.
Now flying high and throwing it down with the one-hander.
One of his favorite moves right there, guys. Now here's Curry, coming off a solid outing against Denver. High post, Pachulia. Shot clock at 5. Here's Durant. Rebounded by Hood.
Man, right play, wrong result on that one. Generally, you knock those down.
Well, I like the decision-making, though. I mean, that's a shot you want to keep taking.
Rubio against Thompson, and Rubio kicks to Ingles. From deep three-point range. Pachulia against Gobert. Pachulia dishes to Curry. His three-pointers off the mark. Gobert with it. He's coming off a 13-point game against Houston. A floater and the layup by Hood. Hood's got his first basket.
Oh, perfect timing there to knock down the teardrop.
At the end of one, a closely contested game so far. It's the Jazz up 2. The second quarter coming up right after this break, so don't go anywhere. And the basketball bloodlines of Klay Thompson. He tells us how his father and brother have become so involved with his success.
Dad always watches more film than me. And I watch film too. Not saying I don't. But they're both fans and they have a huge passion for the game. That's why they're still around it.
Yeah, you know, it's great to have that blend of support and competitiveness around you really your whole life.
Yeah, you can try to put a little something over on your coaches from time and again, even your teammates maybe, but family, they'll check you every time.
Well, up to this point, a closely contested game as we start the second quarter. What do you guys think about the Jazz here in this one?
I think they play great D and not giving up anything easy early on.
Yeah, closing down the lane, closing out on perimeter shooters. Interesting first quarter.
Cephalosha is out there with Yaredko, and it's Rudy Gobert, then it's Ricky Rubio, and it's Mitchell in at the 2. That's the 5 on the floor for the Jazz.
And when you watch the Warriors, one thing that just jumps out is their passing. Everyone on this team, they allow the ball to dictate where it goes. Just unselfish to a fault.
Utah with the ball, following the score by Golden State. Puts up a 3. That one's off. He starts the game with a miss. The Warriors trail. Livingston kicks to Iguodala. And unable there to get the go-ahead bucket. And the Warriors last year averaging right around 30 assists a game as a team. Greg, just a huge number, and they led the league in that regard by a wide margin.
Yeah, the passing they do is what they purpose as well. And I really feel like they have the highest collective basketball IQ in the game. I mean, they get a lot of free points off backdoor cuts or leak outs, and that's all because of their ball movement and awareness as a group.
Now, here's Livingston. Now 8 seconds separating the two clocks. Gobert with the defensive effort.
Well executed, great rhythm. You've got to finish that one.
Yeah, coming off of a good pick, you want to get that when he gets the separation he needs. I know he would love to have that one back.
Here's Cephalosha, an easy layup after coming off the pick.
Oh, he took a terrific angle right there off the screen, something they work on every day in practice.
And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half. Jazz lead by 4. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Alongside Steve Kerr and Coach, what is the offensive approach going to be in the second half?
Well, we just have to do what we do, move the ball and wear them down with our ball movement, our cutting, and our spacing, and set better screens, all the usual stuff.
Yeah, it always seems to work out for you in the long run. Thanks, Steve. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back for the third quarter of action following halftime.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the halftime show on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Utah found themselves in a close game in the first. Their field goal percentage was a robust 50% in the period. That's something they can hang their hat on. The second quarter was a tight battle, but they were the slightly better team. Not by very much, however. And, Kenny, what'd you see out there from the Jazz?
Well, they showed a lot of discipline on offense, called some high percentage plays. Even when the defense devised different looks, they always seem to have the answer. That's good coaching.
Shaq, what are your thoughts on Golden State?
Well, you want to try to hold your opponent under 50% shooting. That has not happened. Defensively, they're allowing way too many good looks. They need to do a better job of shutting down the lane, as well as closing out on shooters.
And that wraps up halftime as the game is set to get back underway. Let's send it to Kevin Harlan and crew, standing by courtside.
Welcome back, everyone. The light rail system here in Salt Lake City carrying people into the downtown area and to our game tonight. Welcome back, everybody. The start of the second half getting underway. Both teams battling hard through the first half. And Chris, as your career progressed, your free throw shooting percentage jumped up about 20 points higher than when you started. That's not the case for a lot of players. Just how hard is it for a big man to improve their free throw shooting throughout their career?
Okay, that's probably one of the things I'm proudest of, is that I have a record from going from worst to that best improvement, and I worked out hard. I had a shooting coach, Buzz. We worked out every summer. I would take him everywhere with me, Kev. I mean,
really?
I would take this guy to the club, to church, to a restaurant. He'd have to wait outside the bathroom. Everywhere I went that summer, I wanted him, with me, because you have to focus and concentrate on it. You think about it, you have to change not only your mental habits, your repetition, but your thought process. So step one is figuring out that shot. Step two is how many repetitions. Step three is, can you get that in game time atmosphere? You really can't unless you punish yourself in the summer with running. So if you have to do a suicide every one you miss, or it just was just so much work and intensity on it, because you have to build up so much trust. Because the reason why guys shoot bad free throws, they don't trust it. They shoot a different way every time. And it was fun becoming better at that, but that's probably one of the toughest things I've ever done, is get better at shooting free throws, because the concentration and the time allowed it to try to improve.
And Golden State looking at who they've got. Lethal shooting pair of Clay and KD out on the perimeter. Inside, we've got Draymond at the 4 and Pachulia to his side. And it's Curry in at the point. Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sidelines.
Guys, Kevin Durant is a unique player. LeBron James said he's a 7-footer with 6-foot ball handling skills, jump shot, and athleticism. It's never been done in our league. Never had a guy that's 7 foot and can do all that, so it sets him apart. Kevin, I'm 6 feet tall, and I can broadcast.
You can, and you can write, and by the way, you're in the Hall of Fame. D.A., thank you. The wide open look for Durant, and it's out of bounds, and they say it was last touched by Durant. Seven seconds left in the third quarter. Here's Mitchell. The step back jumper is good. Mitchell's got the lead up to 4 now for Utah. And that's going to do it for the third quarter. It's the Jazz leading by 4. And time to step aside quickly, but we'll be back in no time with the start of the fourth quarter. And a moment ago inside the huddle with head coach Steve Kerr.
Move it to the next guy, drive and kick, let it come out in the wash, all right?
And Steve Kerr asking his guys to simply run their offense, share the basketball.
Yeah, and don't just settle for tossing it around the horn. Attack the defense, play inside out when you can.
We've got a great game on our hands as we welcome you back. The fourth quarter of action getting started. We've got your red card. Alec Burks is out there with Mitchell, and it's Thabo Sefolosha, and it's Favors in at the center position. That's the 5 on the floor for the Jazz. And the basket by West.
Recognizing the defensive imbalance, Curry quickly locates the open man.
Favors with a screen on Thompson. And looks like the illegal pick was set. Yep, that's right. That'll get their attention.
That's a critical error. They can't afford right now. This game is too tight to make mistakes like that.
Pachulia, he's checked in for David West. The Warriors shooting here about 46% for the game. And here's Thompson. Iguodala outside. And that misses. That would have put him up.
And on an open look like that, he's very gifted at making the weak coverage play.
60 seconds off the clock here in the fourth. Burks kicks to Mitchell. Durant with the steal. Pachulia the pass to Curry. He kicks it to Iguodala to tie it up. Money! And tie game. That is a huge basket right there.
That is cold-blooded.
We want people to tune in, don't we? This is what they're tuning into. Big moments.
And the Jazz call time here. Chance now to recognize our Jordan Player of the Game, Kevin Durant.
And he's up over 50% from the field here tonight. And that speaks to how solid his shot selection has been. Nothing forced and really no bad decisions. Just good, smart, offensive basketball.
Looking at who's out there now for the Jazz. Gobert's checked in for Urebka. Joe Ingles comes in for Cephalosha. Bradley Hood's checked in for Mitchell. And Ricky Rubio subbed in for Alec Burks. All right, let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Hey, Kevin. Well, during the last break, I heard Quinn Snyder talking with his team, and he's pushing them to empty the tank. He said, I know you're tired and it's been a tough game, but we can't hold back. If you're tired, come out. Otherwise, I want you full speed, guys.
Curry with a wide open look, and he misses the go-ahead basket. 2 points here might be all the cushion they need.
You would think so. This game is theirs for the taking.
7-second difference, shot and game clock. Rubio with it, and Curry picks him up defensively. Connects!
And now they are probably too far ahead. It's going to be nearly impossible to get back in this one.
That's why you can't let yourself get in this deeper hole. Very little time now to climb out.
Now a timeout called by Golden State. They're down by 4. 16 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
And they're going to have to score. Quick foul. Can't waste any time here.
Well, it's a lot to talk about in this huddle. They'll also have to decide who they'll want to foul.
Seconds left to play here in the fourth. Thompson right side and stolen by Hood, and the whistle blows. It's going to be on Rodney Hood. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, really good defensive play to cut him off there and square up.
Nine seconds left in the fourth. Pachulia dishes to Curry. Nails it! And that shot brings them to within just one.
Well, the game is on the line. Who would you rather go to than Steph Curry? Who?
Utah calls timeout. They're in front by 1. Just 4 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Here's Ingles. And they foul intentionally. They're going to have to do that now again and again. They're not in the penalty yet.
Had to foul on that occasion to stop the clock. That's the enemy in this situation.
To the inside. And they go to the intentional foul. He drops the first one, and that will put them up by 2.
And, you know, for all the talk about Rubio's passing, I think one thing that gets overlooked is his defense. Both his on the ball and defensive rebounding are very strong for the point guard position.
Pushes it from a 2 to a 3-point lead. You can count on him. It makes a huge difference right now.
And so it's Utah who scraped by with a win. That was a fun night of basketball and fabulous finish as they continued to wait out until the very last moment to seal it.
And there are so many times when you see these tight games won at home, that advantage of having that crowd behind you oftentimes is the ultimate X factor.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much, Derek. Long season. You don't want one loss to turn into 2. How important was it to get this win tonight?
It's big for us. You know, we came out last game and play like bombs, basically. So we just want to come in, make a statement this game, so that we working hard, improving, and just try to get a win.
You guys changed from bums to kings in one night. That's the league. Congrats, Derek. Back to you, Kevin.
David, thank you as always. Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. See you next time.